can you give me a prediction for when I'm talking to you this time, 2027? Where will Harry and Meghan be?
Stripped of their titles.
Hi all, Kinsey Schofield here. Welcome to Kinsey Schofield Unfiltered, and I can't even predict what direction this chat is going to go into today because Jeremy Kyle and I are already in trouble. We are already on fire. Jeremy Kyle of the Jeremy Kyle Breakfast Show. What a pleasure it is to spend so much time with you on your breakfast show, JK.
It's always the best to have you, and it is always best. I always have this innate fear when I'm going to be interviewed, but not by you. We are in trouble already. In fact, you should be playing the bits before we started recording. I don't want to talk about it because it would be unprofessional of me, but I can only wish you luck. In your search for the utopia that you so obviously deserve.
Oh, JK. All right. What a wild week it's been for royal coverage. And you and I have spent the last 3 to 4 weeks covering Harry's big comeback. This was supposed to be a redemption tour. He'd had pictures, he had planned to deliver pictures of him with children, underprivileged, sick, balloon animals. He was going to try to go the Princess Diana route. Look at how compassionate and empathetic he is. And he was supposed to remind the UK why he was such a valuable asset to this country. You know, we had been...
To the country or the monarchy?
To the monarchy.
I thought he didn't like the monarchy. I thought he thought it was racist.
Very good point. But it is my understanding that the polling really devastates him, that he is polling closer to Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, and he has been for quite some time. But also we've been littered with these teases of Project Thaw, the idea that Harry could be coming back to be a working member. Thank you for shaking your head no.
That's just conspiratorial crap. Here's the truth, and we've talked about it forever. And I know I keep saying it, right? If I was totally honest with you, and I was living in Windsor on the Long Walk, everybody knows the old man worked for the royal family for 41 years. When they got married, it was a wonderful spectacle. The old man said to me before he died, there'll be trouble there. And I went, why? He said, just mark my words. He'll be back in England with his ginger tail between his legs within 10 years with 2 children in California he can't see. I thought it was a fairy tale. Very quickly, the cracks appeared. The truth of the matter is, when they said we're out, it's like, yeah, good. Support you. Don't want to be in the goldfish bowl? Go.
You did say that.
But you can't land in LA. Sign up to anybody who wants to wear your dirty linen. And that dirty linen is the very thing the royal family that you purport to hate. So they're racist, they're this, they're that, it's unfair, it's sexist, my children, blah, blah, blah. You launch your brands, every one of which falls, from jam to Oprah to book to podcast to, unlike this, of course, which was hugely successful. That was a public service announcement. Nothing works, and then you start hearing, and it sort of culminates in this, I'm going to come back. We have this ridiculous farce where he's going to come over for the Invictus Games. Can he bring her and the children? Is it safe? So we go back to the whole debacle about security. You're not in, you're not getting it. Pay for it yourself. You didn't want to be in. Then apparently he's going to stay at Buckingham Palace. And then he's not going to stay. But I was on air. And at 8 o'clock, he's going to stay. And at 8:20, he's not going to stay. Yeah. I don't understand how he and his odious wife would even want to go anywhere near Buckingham Palace, which is the very symbol of apparently the racist monarchy that they both hate. The truth is, they need photos in Buckingham Palace or with royal members of the family or, as you said, feeding kids or whatever, because that's all they've got left to tout. Because the United States has had enough. The United Kingdom has had enough. Australia's had enough. Everybody's had enough.
Because there's no there there.
No, there's nothing there.
There's
nothing.
They're not creative. They're not hardworking. They don't contribute in a way that that makes us reconsider our opinion about them. I think that one of the things that I love about the Prince and Princess of Wales, especially over the last few weeks, they stay above the fray, and their message is their contribution. The Princess of Wales comes out of nowhere and is like, I just completed the 3 Peaks challenge while you guys were sleeping. I
can't even walk up the escalator to Waitrose. So respect to her. I'm being serious. And you were talking about Project Thor. That's rubbish. Yeah. That is put by certain commentators who want us to believe.
But don't you think it's the Sussexes?
Probably the Sussexes through a third party who gives somebody $200. The whole thing is so duplicitous of them. I know that with William, you were just talking about him. I know that he is nowhere near a reconciliation ever with his brother. I know that Camilla also is very, very strong on that, and I hope and pray that they'll start to have some sort of more influence on Charles. Can I just say with Charles, I get it. Got 6 kids. I think that if you fell out and you were ill and you were in your 70s, you'd probably want to make good. But even he must now realise that he cannot say or do anything to his son without it ending up in a newspaper, on a podcast, in some commentary. Their whole ethos is about them, about money, about relatability. I wouldn't trust those two genuinely further than I could throw them. We shouldn't use kids on. Oh, you are using your kids on social media now because you've got something to hawk about. The whole of the royal family is racist. Oh, you want to come and stay in Buckingham? Awful. Sorry, can't have it at all.
I totally agree with you. When we were building up the idea of Harry's comeback, did you ever imagine it could go so south? Because I'll be honest with you, I would have brought a couple more outfits if I realized that. You
don't need to, because you look great whatever you wear. Sorry. What would I have thought?
Because
probably
we didn't know until Thursday that we were going to get this verdict, and I think he's actually gone underground.
I could have told you he'd have lost the court case about the hacking.
Yeah,
I could have told. There was no substantial evidence at all,
according to the judge.
And I know plenty of male journalists whose lives were. Listen, the Levinson inquiry called out many people who made mistakes, as they do in many professions, but there were a lot of really good journalists to do with the Mail who were hauled over the coals for nothing. And at the end of the day, that 433-page report by the judge was pretty comprehensive in its condemnation. And of course, you say, was I surprised? And this is going to sound really flippant. Almost everything he does, in my humble, is a disaster.
It's so true.
Almost everything that he tries to do is a disaster. Almost every time I've said it to you before on the air. I don't know who advises him, but it's almost, I would put on a par his advisors with the advisors for Keir Starmer. Literally crap. Yeah. You're going to make amends with your dad who's got cancer. You're going to bring your kids. You're trying to. No, I'm not coming. Everybody knows that you're a liar. Everybody knows that she pulls your strings, literally. And I just think public opinion can never, ever be reversed on either of them. Him included now. Done.
Yeah. I mean, the idea that there's talk, and you mentioned this earlier, that the way that they try to save this trip is the sympathy card by visiting Althorpe with the kids, by visiting Diana's grave. Does that feel grotesque to you?
I think it's a bit. Look, I always have to add a caveat here. I don't wish upon anybody at his age that lost their mother. Okay. Mm-hmm.
We all agree on that, but
William lost his mother too.
Amen, yeah.
And many, many people in this world have lost parents, okay? I don't believe that I believe that everything they do, there's always an ulterior motive. Mm-hmm. There's always got to be something in it for them. There's always got to be a means to why they're doing it, which is appalling. You have to be able to trust people and go, oh my God, so you're doing this because just don't buy it with them. So much of it is manipulation. So much of it is coercion. And I never thought I'd say it, but I would never trust her anyway. Odious. But him, I think it's gone beyond. And look at the way of the world. Look at what's going on in this country and look what's going on for almost everybody across the globe. And they make a life and they make a living out of toxic BS, misery, lies, everything. Yeah. Honestly, when I was on air, they're coming to Buckingham Palace. Oh, great. They're not coming. What? Yeah. Why? It's not big enough, is it?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man.
It's my understanding that they found somebody. They leaked that he was going to be staying at Buckingham Palace, and then Buckingham Palace, in a very rare move, because we know the very classic motto, never complain, never explain. Yeah. Not only do they explain, but they explained in great detail the timeline of what took place. Harry, for the last few weeks, has had the offer to stay at a royal residence in the lead up to this trip. Their anticipation and strategy behind the scenes for Buckingham Palace was to put a staff together for a family of 4 plus an entourage. They'd also have to go and organize hospitality, make sure food and beverage was there for them, additional security. And so they were given they wanted it to know by Friday.
Yep.
Can you let us know, courtesy, by Friday?
If you need a few days to get it sorted, got to get a Waitrose or
right,
Harrods
exactly,
or
Tesco.
Yeah,
and
every little helps.
On Saturday, Matt Wilkinson reports in The Sun that Harry's not going to receive the security that he wants, which is that automatic arm protection when he lands that shadows him throughout his trip. Harry pitches a fit, releases a nasty statement, contacts the palace, rejects the invitation to stay at Buckingham Palace. A few hours later, and I theorize that his security team had to come to Jesus with him and said, Yo, like the safest building in the world is Buckingham Palace. You should probably just stay there. Harry comes back a few hours later after rejecting the offer, after that nasty statement he released, and says, I've decided I want to stay there. And the palace says, too little, too late. Like, no, you can't, specifically the king said, I'm not going to jerk around my staff this way.
I love that word, jerk.
I'm not going to
jerk around my staff.
So then,
can you imagine the king? I'm not going to jerk around the staff.
That's exactly what it sounds like. And then on Monday, somebody from Harry's team leaked
to this, peeps.
Sussex WhatsApp group that Harry was on his way to Buckingham Palace. And then Buckingham Palace comes back and they give us that timeline, that play-by-play of what actually took place. And you understand somebody is lying to us.
There is no doubt that if you put Harry and or Meghan in a room with anybody, the contents of that discussion will end up in the media. Mm-hmm. There are parts of the BBC that patently would con themselves into believing that Operation Thor. I've read articles that William doesn't do enough work. For Christ's sake, his wife had cancer. He's got 3 kids. He's going to be a brilliant king. And I and Kate, everybody knows what I think. I just think it's so petty that this is the truth, that they will never be able to come to terms with the fact that whatever they do, whatever they say, whatever they promise, whatever they let us down on, they will never be held in the same esteem, not within an inch of the same esteem as Kate and William. And I think she honestly felt that when she clicked her fingers and he went, I love you, that they were going to be, and they had a chance at the beginning, but she is, anybody and everybody will tell you, the most demanding, narcissistic, pain in the arse that there probably has ever been in royal circles. Or maybe not the most, but we just hear, you don't trust that they're not going to let it out, Kins? Yeah, that's the problem.
I do. They're very undisciplined. I think that they lack a strong work ethic.
I just think that she calls the tunes and he goes, oh yeah, okay then. Not in that voice, obviously. Okay,
it might be. It might be in that voice. You mentioned the Prince and Princess of Wales.
Yeah.
The idea that Harry needs armed guards that the Princess Royal doesn't have is really appalling to me, that Harry thinks he should have this special level of security.
It goes beyond that to me, right?
Right.
If you're not in it because you don't agree with it, why the hell do you expect the benefits that come with that when you're patently nothing to do with it? You can't. That's like, I tell you what I'm going to do. Do you know what? My brain's too tired. It's just ludicrous.
It is, and the Princess Royal there was an attempted kidnapping with guns, and she still is not on that list for armed security. So the fact that he thinks that he's more special than her, and we have an example of her in jeopardy, is what's most ludicrous to me. But how much do you think it? Because it's my understanding that he was very frustrated the last time he was here, that he was showing up late because he didn't have all the bells and whistles of the presidential type of motorcade. How much of this is ego in that frustration?
Loads.
Of why does William get it? Why does William
because he's the next king. Your wife is odious, and you said you weren't interested in the royal family, and you buggered off to America. So swallow it. Honestly, I don't understand. I don't. And I honestly, and I tell you what I also think, and I've said this a lot, and a lot of people recoil when I say this. I think he's so devious and led by her, that the whole let's get back in with the king thing is based on 2 facts. One, the king is ill.
Yes.
And they see an opportunity to perhaps manufacture or wheedle their way, that's an English word, back in. Maybe talking about inheritance, money, the future. Mm-hmm. Because I can categorically tell you that when the king dies and William takes over, he's obviously he's got a memory like an elephant. He has never forgotten what Harry did to the royal family. It's all about institution. He used to go every Sunday from Eton. We lived, as you know, in Windsor, to tea or lunch with Granny. And that, to him, the monarchy is massively important. I think his wife has been the greatest asset that the royal family's ever had from outside, and perhaps should have learned that lesson some time ago. But Harry, will be cut off. I would give any money I've got that if he hasn't been stripped along with his wife, he will be when William becomes king. But King Charles should go. I'm sick of this. It doesn't mean I don't love you, son, but I'm done with this. This is drama. It's no end of drama. It's just always a circus you didn't want to be in. You can just be called Harry, and then you'll have like Andrew Mountbatten. Well, he's still apparently walking around his little house going, I'm a royal, you have to call me sir. No, you're best friends with a paedophile, mate. Do you know what I mean? Do me a favour.
What's it going to take for King Charles to strip them?
I don't know. You read, don't you, that he doesn't like confrontation. You read that he's somebody who likes to sort of placate. But if he doesn't, I'm sure William will.
I know, but I don't know if I have the patience for that.
As a royal reporter, I'm always digging into international stories, but nothing's more frustrating than hitting that content block online. That's where ExpressVPN comes in, a virtual private network that creates a secure tunnel for your online activity, keeping it private and safe. For unblocking, it lets you change your online location to any of 105 countries. I use it to access UK and global libraries. No more missing out. Privacy-wise, it hides my browsing from ISPs who sell data, crucial when researching sensitive topics, and on public Wi-Fi during travel. Its encryption protects my logins. ExpressVPN's the best, fastest speeds, no log servers audited by PwC. Plan starts at just $3.49 a month. That's like 12 cents a day. It's unreal. Find out how you can get up to 4 extra months by clicking the link in the description box below. expressvpn.com/Kinsey. That's expressvpn.com/Kinsey.
Harry and Meghan not only monetize, with Meghan Markle,
everything, relationships, jobs, they monetize everything.
Victimhood, the Meghan Markle is embracing children with cancer, and then they're flipping those pictures on the AI app so you can buy the clothes she's wearing while she's visiting terror sites and touching children.
Really?
Yes. And it says Meghan, Duchess of Sussex across the app, and you can buy her wardrobe as she's engaging in
Meghan, Duchess of Sussex.
Yes. And I mean, and it's not just the fact that they're milking the titles for commercial reasons. They also are making in my opinion, they're making the royal family's lives very difficult. Yeah. Do you think this has been a fun or comfortable week for King Charles as these headlines have been going back and forth?
And that's why you and I and other commentators will sit here and recoil every time it happens and go, at what point is he going to go? Sod you. I can't bring. I'll tell you who I think is I say our. I mean, I would say the sensible person and who could have a real impact is Camilla.
Oh yes.
Because the word on the street is that she's even more angry about him than William is, and I get that because she spent years trying to be with the man that she knows she loved probably forever, and that wasn't denied, and he's probably ill, and she probably hates the fact that. But Harry makes everything about him and Meghan. Meghan makes everything about her and Harry. And it's draining. It's draining.
But you just said something that's really important, and I don't think that we are... and you've had cancer, my God. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thank you.
But cancer it's a horrible, horrible disease. We've all had people that have experienced it. But one thing that they stress when you're dealing with chemotherapy and when you're dealing with whatever kind of... I know King Charles is doing some experimental stuff that apparently is working wonders. But whenever you are dealing with that, they say to you, stress is one of the worst things that can be on your plate.
They say that stress can be a creator, a good word, an amplifier of cancer. Yeah, I mean, look, I think I was very supportive of Charlie when he was waiting for his mother to pass.
He wasn't waiting for his mother to pass.
Listen to what I'm going to say to you, because I was doing this long before you. Now, I'm just being honest. For years, I mean, he would talk out about architecture, or he'd talk out about music, and then he'll go, "Shut up, weirdo, just be..." But if he didn't speak, they'd say, "What does he do for a living?" And then I always felt he was stuck in this morass of...
You're right.
When my mother passes, my destiny, my job. I think he's done a brilliant job for the first 3 years. I think he's probably a very caring, sharing man. I know he still has his critics. I think he's tried to modernise the monarchy. I think he's been dealt a terrible hand. But we've always also been critical, with Andrew. But he in the end was decisive, and I think he needs to be decisive with Harry, because I think Harry probably feels that he can manipulate his dad. away from Camilla and away from William. And his dad needs to show him or prove to him that he can't do that.
And is that why it's my understanding that courtiers go out of their way, if they do have a meeting, to ensure that there are subtle witnesses in the room or people on standby,
so they know exactly what's being said?
Yeah. Also,
that's the point.
It's my understanding that people will stay within arm's reach in case they need to swoop in and claim that his next engagement, there's traffic, it's going to take longer to get there, we got to get you out of the room now. You know, that they are going to great lengths to protect this
and that's no relationship with your dad, is it? I mean, you know, you should be, but then if my dad had cancer, and he's not because he's dead anyway, but if my dad, I mean, it's just being honest, he is dead, but if he had cancer and I was Prince Harry, I wouldn't be advertising I was going to England to see my dad. I'd fly overnight, make my way to Windsor Castle with whatever, and spend time with my dad. But
and why does he never do that? Why does he never do that?
Because it doesn't give him clickbait or opportunities to score. I think a lot of it, though, clickbait, product, yes, is supreme jealousy about his brother, a desire, this mad belief that he and she can somehow regain the love, adulation. And he can't. It's gone. It's gone. Never to return. Don't care what anybody tells me. Never to return.
Last year around this time when we were talking, because we've been friends for a while
How
now.
long have we been friends for?
Very, very long.
That was very English.
We were talking about Meghan's new podcast. This was her career podcast. I don't even know, Confessions of a Female Flounder. We were talking about With Love Meghan, which had 2 seasons and a Christmas special. We were talking about As Ever launching. This year, they are really, it feels like they're dead in the water. Can you give me a prediction for when I'm talking to you this time, 2027? Where will Harry and Meghan be?
Stripped of their titles. They are.
You really think in 12 months they could be stripped of their titles?
I think the world. Certainly this. I think everybody's had enough, mate. I think it's a drama, and you know, you can't carry on like this forever. Listening to this, there will come a point where the monarchy in its entirety is going to have to go. Listen, we don't trust you. We might love you, but we don't trust you. You can't be part of this. It's be Harry, be my son, but don't. I'm not. But knowing Charles, I suspect he will bail him out and make excuses for him, and he'll try and get in before William becomes king. But I don't think she will ever come back to this country. I think he will find it harder and harder. Yeah, I think they'll be stripped of their titles, genuinely.
And how do they make money? Do they have to?
I've no idea, but here's the other thing. Can I just tell you this? I don't know what I've told you this before. Everybody goes on about, she was on Suits, and she was this, and she was that. She can make jam. We go on a golf trip once a year to Florida, as you know, I think, with my boys, and we get up early and play golf at 8 o'clock, and then
get up early. You get up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning now.
But on holiday.
Okay.
And then we go and play lovely golf at all the lovely courses and have a sort of sandwich, and then come back to the house. And before we go out for dinner, we watch the same program on repeat every day. Do you know what it is? What? It's Howie doing Deal or No Deal, and Meghan in a boob tube is on box 23 for 3 years.
A boob tube and a bodycon dress.
Yeah. And let me tell you. That is the future. No, not having it. Sorry. Yeah. I'm not being, a lot of people go, you're really harsh about her.
I think
she disrespected the Queen. She disrespected almost everything to do with an organisation that I love and that I will always support. And in that way, you get nothing from me. Sorry, done.
You're holding her accountable. I saw Howie a few months ago, and I asked him about it, and one of his producers that has been with him for years. And his producer specifically said, we were really taken aback by her complaining, saying that she felt, like she was a bimbo in that position. And he said, you know what? Not one of us remembered who the hell she was. We had to go back.
She'd have probably complained she was in box 23 and not box 1. That would sort of summon up Meghan Markle. But yeah, she opened a box on Deal or No Deal for 6 years, and that's from a man who did the Jeremy Kyle show. So essentially, look, I sort of feel like it's come home to roost.
Yeah. All right. Well, agree with us, disagree with us. Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Jeremy Kyle, I love you. Thank you for spending time.
I love you too, Kinsey, and I love your dress.
Say hi to my mom, Kim.
Kimberly, can I just say, what a woman you must be to have created such a beautiful daughter who has so much talent. And I'm going to come to Arizona and go for a walk amongst the cacti with you. How's your dad?
Flirt alert.
How's your dad?
He's good. He's good. He's good.
He's out the door when I come.
You're out of control.
He's out the door.
Bye, guys.